all set.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for your patience. It is 3:11 p.m. on September 24th, 2005, and this meeting of the Workforce Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee is now called to order. We have with us, as far as members of the committee go, Rob Brown, Rachel Graham, Ann Corman, and myself, Veronica Pillar, in chambers, and we have Jen Micah, Shauna Black, Lillian Isaacs, and Nick Bennett, all on Zoom. Thank you for being here. I think we all know each other, but correct me if I'm wrong or if anyone wants to do introductions anyhow. All right, fabulous. I will, I guess, now is as good as time as any to announce we're missing a couple members of the committee that we expected, and then our member Carmen Arroyo unfortunately recently had to resign from the committee for personal reasons, but we appreciate her contributions during the time she was with us, and sorry to spring this on you. Thank you, Carmen. We will miss you in this space and see you in others. Changes to the agenda. I guess there's not really a change to the agenda. We'll change exactly what's happening in the departmental equity indicators overview bit. Are there any other changes? Seeing none. Chair's report, just a couple of things. One, we still have to reschedule the November and December meetings, and I had meant to do this by email since last meeting, and I didn't. I apologize of that. A reminder that the October meeting, by the way, has already been rescheduled from the usual 4th Wednesday to the 5th Wednesday of October. So that would be our next meeting, and that'll be October 29th at 3 p.m. For the November and December meetings, Jordan, I hate to put you on the spot. I have your email with chambers availability, but that was from like a month ago, and I wonder if it's still the same.
It is still the same.
It is still the same, okay. Then, and last time, people expressing availability didn't really land on a particular time that worked, but shoot, I'm losing my place. Would people be able to do, for a November meeting, would people be able to do Friday, November 21st? Say at 1 p.m.
I can.
Yes, I could do that.
Hi at 1:30 on that Friday.
Oh, that's not a good thing to conflict with. What about, yeah, I don't want to conflict with Jedi at all. What about Friday the 21st at 11 a.m.?
Okay.
Works for me.
That's viable.
Okay.
I can't do that one, but that's okay. I'm teaching.
I cannot do that one either.
What about Monday the 24th at, say, either 1 or 3 p.m.?
Either one works for me.
3 p.m. works for me. I cannot do 1.
Anytime works for me that day.
Can you say the time again? then?
Monday the 24th at 3 p.m.?
Works for me.
I'm good.
Okay. I just heard a quorum's worth of yeses, so can we reschedule the November meeting for Monday the 24th at 3 p.m.? That'd be 2 days earlier than its default time, which would have been the 26th. And Thanksgiving holiday is the 27th, which is the reason for moving it, as I don't think anyone wants to be here 3 p.m. on that Wednesday.
As much as I give thanks for you all.
Yes, and I for you. The December meeting, one of the options was Thursday, December 18th at 3 p.m. Does that work for people?
At 3?
Works for me.
Yeah, December 18th at 3.
Yes.
Some Thursday, December 18th, 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Yes, that works for me.
Okay. How about, let's confirm that. We can change it later if we absolutely have to. Yeah. Jordan, does that work? Okay,
So they're
fabulous.
Both at 3 p.m.
So both at 3 p.m. So ending up keeping the same time, but different dates. So that December meeting will be Thursday, December 18th at 3 p.m. That's just the week prior to the usual time, but on a Thursday. Fabulous. Any questions or concerns about those? Somehow that was easier than I thought it would be. All right, the next bit on the agenda, it says a review of climate survey to equity indicators. This isn't anything formal. I just wanted to give a little overview of how we got to, of some of the history of county work leading up to there even being departmental equity indicators in the first place. But I know I'm sitting next to people who were involved in this process long before I got here, so please interrupt me if I say anything wrong, certainly, or if you have something to add. Workforce diversity and equity and inclusion work has been going on in some form at the county for decades, but there's a clear through line back to where I'm going to start is our previous climate surveys at the county was it 2015 or 2016? 2018 was the last one.
15.
Okay, there was one in 2015, another climate survey in 2018. We've talked about these a bunch, but the 2018 climate survey, this, as described, surveyed the workplace climate within Tompkins County, asked a bunch of questions, got a bunch of answers, and then in 2019 to make changes based on the results, the Workplace Climate Survey Implementation Team was created, which had a lot of members from across many Tompkins County departments. And the implementation team was charged with reviewing the results, identifying areas for organizational growth and development across Tompkins County. They then split into 4 subgroups to examine aspects of the organization in which survey results indicated growth and development could occur. One of those groups, or one of those teams, was the Diversity and Inclusion Infusion Team, which reviewed the information from the survey, researched best practices elsewhere, including looking at how other governments addressed racism and other inequities within their organizations. They met with GARE, Government Alliance on Race and Equity, which hopefully you're all familiar with at this point and looking forward to the meeting next month. And they created a bunch of specific recommendations that were presented to the county administration and the legislature. Out of those recommendations, one of them was to create Team Jedi, which we know and love and continues to this day. Another one was to create the Chief Equity and Diversity Officer position, which was done. And the first person was hired into that position in September 2020. That was our previous, our first Chief Equity and Diversity Officer, Deanna Carithers. She was with the county for a couple years, some time, established some of the work in that position. When she left, our search for her replacement led us to current Chief Equity and Diversity Officer Charlene Holmes, and when Charlene came in, her role is quite broad and multifaceted, and one of her charges and focuses was to create structures and procedures to really institutionalize equity in our organization, so that the work she did through the relationships she built and everything she spearheaded here wouldn't depend on her, the individual, or whoever was in that role or any other role, but that it would be infused in the structure of Tompkins County government to last beyond any individual. And so out of that, or as part of that work, we got the Institutionalizing Equity Report, the inaugural one we all saw last year. And so both the content of that report and its existence and its plan to be an annual report has come out of this through line of work. And one of the major things, though certainly not the only, in the Institutionalizing Equity Report is the structure of departmental equity indicators, which are, I think, very important and in many cases can be simply described, but are not simple. Rachel can speak more to this as a deputy department head who's been involved in the creation of this. But I know that Charlene, unfortunately couldn't be at this meeting today due to unforeseen circumstances, but I know that she has put a lot of time in with the department heads across the organization, really, and as have the department heads and other staff, building relationships, co-learning together about what the department does and what we're striving for with infusing equity in the organization, and how, in what ways does it come up and apply in the work the departments are doing. And from what I have heard, this is really in, at least many cases across the organization, this has been a really good sort of partnership of experts coming from our CEDO's side, as with expertise in the practices of diversity and equity and inclusion, and then expertise in our other staff side in a whole variety of things, whether it be, the county administration or social services delivery or highway maintenance or what have you. And so I think it's taken quite some time for the departments to settle on what their equity indicators are, and I think that's been taking the time to make sure that these are like meaningful and reasonable and measurable has been valuable as far as I'm aware. And so I guess partly I want to string this together to appreciate, to acknowledge and thank the work that led up to the creation of the Equity Indicator Program, and the work that's come out of the Chief Equity and Diversity Officer position, and the work that's come out of the internal county teams, including Team Jedi, and previously the climate survey implementation team, and then the climate surveys themselves, all of which were foundational parts of the work we're doing right now in fall 2025. And so I guess as we're previewing, we're going to hear today and hopefully through the remaining 3 meetings of the year that we just talked about the scheduling for, we're going to hear presentations from some of the departments about what their equity indicators are, how they're measuring them, why they're relevant. We're not, I think in a lot of cases, I don't think that I or this committee expect to see like a whole progress over time yet, because there hasn't been that much time. But I know that I am really looking forward to learning from the departments about the specific practical ways that the broader DEI work within the workplace, within the workforce that this committee focuses on, shows up very specifically in the specific work that they do. Anything any of you wanted to add?
Captured it well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions before we continue? I feel like this should lead into the equity indicator presentation, but looking at the agenda, we first have some minutes approval. And I see we've perhaps temporarily lost Shauna, but we still have quorum. So for the minutes of August 27, 2025, would anyone like to move those? Rachel moves. Annie seconds. Any comments or edits to the minutes? Seeing none, let's have a roll call vote. I'll do on the screen first and then in the room. Lillian.
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Rachel.
Yes.
Annie.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Those pass unanimously. Thank you all. So now up to, sorry, we might actually be a little loosey-goosey in the meeting agenda, because I'm also realizing we have Norma Jane, Deputy County Administrator, to present on some budget proposals, and I'm not quite sure where to put you. I forget we don't have, I'm like used to having the county administrators update on every single agenda in other committees. We don't have this here. Why don't, okay, why don't,
Do you have any, can I just ask, do you have any time constraints?
Yeah, I'm good.
And
Okay.
do you, because you're presenting?
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we do the content of the Chief Equity and Diversity Officer update, which is going to be, I'll go briefly over the document that she gave us. Rachel can present about the county clerk's indicators. And then we'll go to Norma presenting administration proposals, and then we'll carry on with JEDI update and so on as written in the agenda. Any objections?
I don't think we have anything else to vote on, correct? So we're, if we lost quorum, it's not as critical, right? That's what it looks
I
like to
think
me,
so.
right? Yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
like that sounds good.
Okay, great. So the departmental equity indicators overview, we think we can hear more about these in the future, but what Charlene put together for us was a little one pager, front and back, left and right, depending how it's printed. With this is a list of obviously not all the departments, but departments who have already determined what their equity indicators are going to be and how often they're going to be presenting them, if it's going to be like quarterly or twice a year or yearly. A lot of this is still in progress, but these are just examples of ones that are already developed, and I think it's a lot of these departments will end up hearing from over the next few months. And you'll notice some departments have, this is true in general and on this list, more than one different equity indicator that are going to be measured differently because they may be fundamentally different things. And in this list, one of the departments here is the county clerk's department, and we are lucky to have the deputy county clerk on our committee. So, Rachel, would you love to share more about your equity indicator?
Sure. So, our indicator is equitable access to the clerk's office services and records. And so our goal with this indicator is to ensure all residents can access clerk's office services equitably. And the services covered are public records, both online and in person, request forms and filings, and anything else that we do in the office in person or by mail. The barriers that we're monitoring are physical access, such as location, ADA, transportation, also digital access, accessing the website, language access, and digital literacy. And so how we're doing this is we had a customer survey that was more about customer satisfaction. And so we updated that survey to include questions about accessibility. I think that got updated and put up on the website in February. We printed QR codes that we put at each public counter where there's like a computer that somebody's waiting on, someone that comes into the office. We put that same QR code on any public tables where people typically will sit to fill out forms for the office. We put a big thing on our website to please fill out our survey, and then we also have it in some of our email signatures. So far, we've only received 9 survey responses. So, and that was as of the 18th when I put this together, but I haven't gotten one since then, so. Not a lot to go on, but we've got some. So we are collecting those surveys on accessibility and satisfaction. We also received Google Analytics, which we have from May to August, which shows us the number of clicks from our website to our public records access database. It shows like an age range of people that are using it, gender mix, and top cities. And then I am waiting, currently I put in a request to our vendor to see if there's any data that they have that they can share on use of our public search site. So next steps will be for us to compare the feedback of the surveys that we have with the analytics that we've collected and that we will hope to receive more of. And then to identify any gaps that we see from those survey responses based on the usage, and then to develop solutions to try to improve access to our services according to those results. This is our first time collecting equity-focused data on clerk services. It does align with the county's institutionalizing equity framework, and it will provide us with a baseline so we can track progress over time. And that is what we're doing at the clerk's office for 2025. Any questions?
Annie?
Are you able to share, I guess I could, can I go online to see what the questions are that you've added?
Yeah,
or can you
actually,
share
I could
those?
share them. I can share them. Let's see. Do I need to stop this share to do a different one? Let me see.
Probably you do,
I do.
if you're sharing like a specific app.
There we go. Okay, so this is our homepage. So you'd be on our website. And about halfway down the page, we have this, we want your feedback. Customer experience and access survey. Your input makes a difference. Your feedback helps us improve your experience. Okay, so first part of the survey is about the service experience. So it asks in what capacity you're visiting us, and the options here are Tompkins County resident, business, legal professional, title searcher, or other. And then there, if it's other, there's a line to specify what the other is. Purpose of the visit today, we have searching for records, recording, filing documents, passports, business certificates, notary services, or other. Then we have a rating of the timeliness of the service received, from 1 as very slow to 5 very fast. Did staff provide helpful and knowledgeable assistance? Yes, no, somewhat, please explain below are the options there. What makes your experience with, or what would make your experience with our office easier or more efficient? And then, second part of the survey is about accessibility. Did you experience any barriers when accessing our service or records? We have options of no barriers, my experience was smooth, language barrier, I needed translation interpreter support, digital access barrier, difficulty navigating website, online forums, etc. Physical accessibility barrier, difficulty accessing office, seating, accommodations, etc. Communication barrier, difficulty understanding instructions, signage, etc. Financial barrier, cost-related difficulty, other, please specify, and then there's a space to specify. If you experienced a barrier, did staff assist you in overcoming it? Yes, no, somewhat, and then there's space to add more to that answer. Which of the following services would improve accessibility for you? More translated materials or forms, more online services, self-service options, improved physical accessibility, additional staff training on accessibility and cultural competency, other, please specify, and then there is space for them to specify that. And then we ask if they'd like to be contacted for a follow-up on their experience, yes or no, and then they can provide a contact method for us to contact them if they'd like.
Thank you. Other
Can I just make a
questions?
comment?
Yes.
Yeah. I like how you have asked for the if they had any barriers, and then if they did you ask like right away, did you overcome them? Because I know for me, when I'm filling out forms and they might ask something like that, I'm looking to see, is it the next question or two that says, and was that resolved, or did they help me with that? So I'm glad to see that and look forward to seeing how your results are.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
9 responses is not a suitable sample size yet, but from what you've been getting, how does that track with sort of qualitative impressions you've received from users of clerk services? Or is it really just too soon to offer an impression?
No, I can say most of the responses are very positive. I've had a number of responses that they answer the satisfaction side and don't answer a lot of the questions about accessibility, and it's hard for me to tell if that's because there were no accessibility issues or if it was just too long a survey and they didn't want to take the time to answer that portion. So, but so far nothing stood out to me that that like we need to change something immediately to make things more accessible. Definitely some suggestions that we can, review and look into. And any suggestions people have for how to get more people to take the survey, we would take that.
I have a few questions. One, I do like the survey. I hadn't seen it yet, but thank you for walking us through it. And I agree with Annie that I like the, that there's a difference between, I didn't experience a barrier and I got what I needed done, and I experienced a barrier and so I didn't get what I needed. And that I experienced a barrier, but somehow got through it anyway, or I experienced a barrier and the staff helped me and got through it. Yeah. So those are all important to tease out. Is the survey intended to be filled out when, I guess depending how you're accessing it, you might access it when you're actually at the clerk's office or at the DMV, but here I'm thinking the last time I went to a clerk's office, I guess I could fill out a survey about that, but that was quite some time ago. It wouldn't have been vote today. Do you want responses like that?
Yeah, so we don't have paper surveys. It's really all just digital. So, and one thing I did forget to include is on all the receipts we hand out, there's also that QR code on the receipts. And I should have also clarified that this is specific to the county clerk's office. And when I spoke to Charlene about creating the equity indicators for our departments, we decided not to do one for DMV specifically because that's so state mandated. It's mostly state forms and state procedures, that it didn't really fall into to what we're doing with the equity indicators for the county. So, so this is specific to the county clerk's office services.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. For the barriers, I would imagine, and this isn't specific to your work, but probably a fundamental thing, that barriers to accessing the service may also end up being barriers to accessing the survey.
Sure.
I guess maybe this is more of a comment than a question, but what have you thought about that? I'm sure you've thought about that.
Yeah, so we did think about putting paper surveys out, and maybe we should still do that, but again, that would only be accessible to people who make it into the office, and it wouldn't reach people that are accessing our services that aren't physically there. And I don't think it would make sense to put them anywhere other than our office. So I don't know, but open to suggestions, absolutely.
I mean, could you do both digital and paper?
Sure.
I don't know if that's annoying.
Yeah.
And also, could someone fill out the survey for someone else potentially?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
My last question is, how do you get demographics from Google Analytics? It's just because we're all signed in with our Google accounts and they know too much about us, and
I have no idea. It was Rob, actually. Thank you, Rob, for getting us the Google Analytics. So
sorry, I'm laughing because Rob Henry, thank you, up in the booth, is responding to my question with a 2 thumbs up. Perhaps more as affirmation than approval, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So he provided us with that information, and I don't know how Google gets it. Somehow I'm guessing with IP addresses, but I don't know how that information is connected to people's IP addresses.
Their entire business model is making money off of information about us, so they're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yes. Rob also says yes. I mean, Rob up high in the booth says yes to what Rob down here in the chambers said. Annie?
Yeah, I was just thinking when we have the center of government with the main area and lobby, where hopefully we're gonna, we're thinking about having computer access so folks can access some online services for the county right there. And this could be a thing where then too, they can do right there, they can do their satisfaction, survey, or even if they're just visiting, you could invite somebody to sit down here, press this button and do a satisfaction, survey including these. And I do like that for your survey, I opened it up, you have to go to that second page for the accessibility and equity questions to submit. So you're ruling out that people just didn't see that second page.
Yes, yep. Yeah, and I didn't want to make fields required because I wanted as much information as we could possibly get, and I knew if I did that, it would limit how many got submitted.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
I know from personal experience, I've definitely started forms and then just quit and not submitted when I got bored and too many questions were required.
Yeah, and I've wondered how many times that has happened, because it is, before it was like 4-question survey, and to include the accessibility questions and the data that we really want. I didn't like how long it was, but it's the information I felt we needed to collect if we want data to make decisions on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Norma.
I'm not part of the committee, but just one thing you might think of is just to do like those bite-sized pieces of it, find a way to do that in chunks, because folks will do a 1-minute response rather than so
Yeah.
you might have to do 4 or 5, but you might get more data back. Just a thought. I had to do it in previous life, so.
Thank you.
Because I'll also say, and this is just me, if I know before, if a survey is like multiple pages, but I know beforehand, either like, this is a 8-question survey, or like, this is page 1 of 2, that's helpful. If I'm like, it says next, and now is it going to keep me pressing next 12 times or not? Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
fair.
Like how many questions and maybe average time to complete.
Yeah.
Like I think I could probably complete this in a minute myself.
Right.
I mean, somebody might take, of course, longer or maybe quicker, but it kind of gives you what are you in for? If I'm feeling the same way that Veronica, if you're like, oh, we don't know how many pages, then I'm just done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh, there's just 1 page, sure.
2 pages.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. And I will just do a quick plug for Laserfiche. This is the Laserfiche form, and it's really cool to generate the reports from the form, because it just puts it into an Excel spreadsheet with all the answers, which makes it fun and easy to analyze once you have it.
Oh, nice.
I love that. Yeah. Other questions or comments for Rachel? Seeing none.
I just want to say thanks for being our first to report out on the indicators.
Of course.
Yes, thank you. Next on the agenda was just another reminder of the Government Alliance on Race and Equity, or GARE conference. I'm sure you've heard this a bunch before, but for anyone out in the world, we have GARE is holding a regional convening here in Ithaca next month, October 21st and 22nd. I don't have a clear URL for signing up, but if you Google GARE Ithaca October 2025, you'll find event pages, tickets, and whatnot. There's now more of the agenda content is available in sneak peeks to whet your appetite. The main session titles include Forging Right Relationship with Indigenous Nations, Leading with Community-Based Strategies, and Advancing Racial Equity No Matter How. Plus, there's a whole bunch of breakouts. Additionally, it does cost money to attend, but if cost is the barrier for you, please email Charlene C. Holmes at tompkins-co.org, or Carmen Arroyo, aforementioned Carmen Arroyo, who's also very involved with this, carroyo at tompkins-co.org, to ask about potential scholarship options for county residents. Not guaranteeing anything, but they have said, please reach out to us. That is all I have about that. Unless, does anyone have any questions, which I can't promise to answer? Phew. All right, so Norma, we are to you. So we asked Norma, or rather county administration, and Norma stepped up to give us a preview of a bit of I guess, an aspect of your budget presentation for tomorrow night about what might be going on budgetarily with the Equity and Diversity Officer and thereabouts.
Sure.
And also the Human Rights Office. Did we say that?
I wasn't asked
Okay.
to provide that, but.
Never mind.
Happy to respond to whatever I can.
Okay.
On that, yeah. So I was, for the Chief Equity Diversity Officer, they have their own functional unit within our budget, and there has been no reduction, well, that's not true. We had one reduction in the program expenses, only just due to the activity in that account. So we made a reduction there, but we've also increased the program. Why is it just, we've increased the program expenses for the Race Forward conference for that position, or for that department, provided funding for membership for Governmental Alliance. I'm not sure if I'm giving you too much information, but hopefully this is helpful. We've added some, or we've maintained some funding in that budget to provide for professional services and supplies, and then the salary, of course, has been fully funded for 2026. I will say, too, that the position description for the funded role is currently under review by the HR department, and an update for that. Once we have that, we can provide that to you.
Can you explain to everyone what a functional unit is?
Oh, sure. It's, New York State has a set of accounts that are standard across the state, and that's what the functional unit is. It's the standard account number for anything that's in general administration. They all start with a 12, and so theirs is, I think it's 1238 for that particular department. Thank you. Sometimes I forget. And as
Yes.
and as far
I was going to start to explain. I was like, no. Norma can do it.
And then the Human Rights Office is staying exactly funded as it was last year, with, of course, the whenever union negotiated salary increases that were required. But there has been, at this point in time, there's been no changes in that budget as it's being presented to the legislature.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions for Norma? Annie?
And so for the Human Rights Office, that's two FTEs?
Oh, actually, thank you for that. There's actually 3 FTEs in that. So yes, there was a change. We added in in 2 years ago, there was a position for education and outreach coordinator, and it was omitted from the budget in 2024, I believe. So in 2026, the county administrator has added that position to that department. So thank you. I forgot about that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Other questions? So would it be correct to say the proposed budget for the Equity and Diversity Program, which is largely the Chief Equity and Diversity Officer, and what they have to work with, is mostly held the same?
Yes.
With small changes?
No, a portion of that budget also is to support work that the WDIC also, so that's part of that program expense.
Right, yes. So anything this committee spends?
Correct. Comes out of that budget.
Yeah. WDIC used to have its own budget line, and then it got looped into this program, which I think makes sense because no particular role in this committee was otherwise tasked with spending county money. And I'll speak for myself. Yeah. I wasn't prepared to do a good job managing it on the technical level.
And we've never had our own treasurer, so I think it was a good move.
Yeah. All right, anything else for Norma?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
what is next? Team Jedi update. So I guess we're back to Rachel.
Yeah, so I actually don't have much of a report. We met in just last week and in September. Attendance has been low. So last meeting, it was just myself, Samantha, and Matt Van Houten. So we didn't really even cover everything that was on the agenda because we didn't feel that three of us, actually one of the things on the agenda is the future of Jedi, and I wanted like a lot of people there to have that discussion. So otherwise just plugging along, trying to plan, the GARE conference in October.
Cool, thank you. Can you remind me when the next Jedi meeting would be?
Yeah.
And either publicly or offline, because I would love to come if that invitation is still open.
It would, yes, of course. Friday, October 17th from 1:30 to 3.
Amazing, thank you.
And those are usually hybrid, so it's in person in the Scott Heyman and also on Zoom. So I can send a link if anybody needs it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Rachel / Team Jedi?
Oh. Got a customer service.
Oh, you got a response?
Yeah,
Amazing.
while we're in this meeting, crazy.
All right, thank you, respondent. Yeah. All right, moving along, upcoming proclamations. We have coming up Indigenous Peoples Day, which is, wait, is it October 13th? Thank you. October 13th, which is a county holiday coincident with Columbus Day, and it is also something that at least sometimes in the past we have done a proclamation for. We also have coming up in November Native American Heritage Month, which is also sometimes something we have sometimes done a proclamation for. In your agenda packets, you have, just as examples, I think the most recent probably of each proclamation, Native American Heritage Month one from a couple years ago, and a Indigenous Peoples Day one from a few years ago. And so I guess my question to the committee is, would you like to do one, both, either of these proclamations again? Is this even the right way to make the decision? What feedback do you have? Because in either case, it would be necessary to submit the proclamation before the next WDIC meeting, particularly because the October WDIC meeting is pushed yet further into the future, close to November, and obviously it's way past Indigenous Peoples Day itself. So what thoughts or questions do folks have?
Did you say we didn't do one in 2024? Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I implied that, and yes.
Okay.
While it may be small, given our current broad-scale political climate, I think that it is very valuable for Tompkins to continue to declare our values publicly and plainly. So I'm in favor of doing them both.
So with that being said, if you would like to do a proclamation for October 13th, your legislature meeting would be October 7th. A proclamation would need to be turned in by October 3rd to be able to follow the proper process to go to legislators before the draft agenda goes out. If you would like a proclamation for the month of November for Heritage Month, the first November legislature meeting falls on November 4th, so you'd want to turn in your proclamation on October 31st.
Thank you. But aren't each of those deadlines actually a week before what you said? So it'd be the Friday before, a week before the meeting?
Yes, yes.
I
So-
hate to push a deadline sooner. but-
Yes, so that means for the Heritage Month for November, I am so sorry. I had this all ready and written for you, and I just looked at the calendar. So the week before the 31st would be the 24th. So Heritage Month for November would be the 24th. That unfortunately does line you up if you wanted to meet your deadline for October 7th to be this Friday.
That is very good to know. Thank you.
So September 26th, is that?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay. And Rob, thank you for your input. Your reasoning makes sense. Other thoughts?
I agree with Rob, and I personally don't have time to work on it since we have budget season and some other things. But it seems that if we had one or two people to work on a revision, wondering if somebody could do it. So does it have to go through this committee? Or can we work on it and go right to the clerks?
I think we can go right to the clerks.
So that gives us some flexibility.
I think the only rules, correct me if I'm wrong, about proclamations is that they should be sent to legislators with enough lead time for review, but they can come from anywhere about anything.
That is correct. So that's why it's the Friday before,
Yeah.
to give the legislators the weekend to review the proclamation.
Once there was a proclamation about Grateful Dead Day, although I don't think it got presented out loud.
There was one at one point where.
Oh, it did? Yeah, okay.
Where it was presented out loud, yes.
I stand corrected.
I can do the month one. I don't know about the day with this Friday deadline. I'd be happy to work on it. Maybe if one other person can assist with that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing as Nick. I'd be happy to help with the month one, but I don't have time to work on one that would be due by Friday. Sorry.
Reasonable. Okay, what if, I guess the two of you, and I'll loop myself in, to work on the month one, and for the day one week, I mean, the less optimal but easy thing is to mostly just copy a previous proclamation, which at least gets the day recognized. Oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Veronica, I was speaking over you. I can, if folks are cool with just changing the dates, and I looking at the day proclamation, I think I would like to add the Gaiokono name in there somewhere, probably before Nation. So if folks are cool with very minimal changes to that, I can do that and get it sent to, I would probably send it to Veronica before Friday.
I agree that it would be good to have the Gaiokono name in there. Thank you. And thank you, Nick.
If you
that
add
means
the
you have to-
verbiage that you would like and send it to me, I can format it to proper format, if it would save you some time.
So you
Okay.
need to get that, what time on Friday? Is there a certain time, like do you need it Friday morning or Friday at the end of the day?
Preferably before the clerk of the legislature leaves for the day, which is around 4:30.
Okay, good to know. I've just sent an email to you, Jordan, Nick, and Rachel with almost no content as just a placeholder for this task.
So you guys are going to work on both of those
Yes.
today? Oh, great, thank you guys for doing that.
Okay. Anything else on this topic? All right. Moving on to the discussion items about the Strength and Diversity Award. I have no real updates about that, even though I had meant to. But we should reconvene our group.
We
Yeah.
definitely need to have a meeting. For all of us in our various ways, it has been a very, very, very meeting-y month.
Yes. I will get on that right after this. Does anyone have anything else to say about the award topic?
I wasn't here at the last WDIC meeting, so forgive me. But I did watch the recording, and it sounded like the clerks were recommending that this subject of the Strength and Diversity Award, because it's something we're planning to do every year, that we could have a subcommittee or something like
We
that?
recommend a working group.
Working group,
And
okay.
the reason why is because it's a different nominee every year, so technically ends and restarts again. So
Okay.
a working group is something that ends. A subcommittee would continue. So we recommend a working group.
So a working group that reconvenes each year?
And then at the first meeting of WDIC each year would be kind of like your planning meeting of who's going to be on this working group.
For that year?
Yep.
Okay, I like that.
That makes sense.
So thank you for researching into that.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on this? If no, we are up to committee members' reports. Does anybody have anything to report or share related to the work of this committee? Member or otherwise? Going twice? That's not how this goes. Going once, twice, thrice. I couldn't decide which way I was counting and just started in the middle. Anyhow,
When you're
oh,
ready.
thank you. If nothing else, we are up to adjournment, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Annie, for providing props now and for often.